Toby, did you ever think at 10-8 for a long stretch there that you had enough in you to hold on?
I thought we did enough to win. I thought it was enough in it to win. If you look at the defensive pressure that we put on, the turnover ball, we had 2 clear opportunities to on an edge, one from a defensive potential intercept, and the turnover that we went the length. Yeah, they were a long way to go, but we've created opportunities there for us. And against the very best, you need to take those opportunities. And the longer that they're, like anything, the longer the person behind is in touch, especially if you've got the calibre of what they've got, things become an arm wrestle. They adjusted what they did cleverly, and we couldn't find an answer for too long. We then kept competing. I thought we were excellent the first half. I think the score is a bit flattering, if I'm honest. And then you're at a critical time where you're starting to build pressure. Your line out falters a little bit. You can't build pressure into their half. Get into their half. Someone overruns somebody else. Those little bits of accuracy. So look, were we clear? Were we pleased from a performance point of view? Defensively, much better than we were last week, and that's a real positive. We brought intensity. No one can, unfortunately, no one in the stadium to see it, and I'm sure that the crowd would have made a difference and got behind us there, because there was a lot to be proud of and a lot to support. But we need to be more accurate.
Darren Edwards, I gather, on board with the defence, making a bit of a difference then?
Yeah, you can give him that credit. He's been in the building for today, so yeah,
there we are.
Yeah, so absolutely. Yeah, let's give Darren the credit. No, look, he obviously is somebody that I've worked with at Bath. And in my previous life, we obviously had Richie Pugh left to the Sevens programme. We need more coaches that we can trust, coaches that have done it before. He did phase 1 to 3 defence at Bath with me for a bit. Just need more experience, more quality coaches in the building. So yeah, he'll be here till probably the end of the season, whilst we go through the defence coach interview process. It's as you've just seen, it's in any team, defence is a critical appointment.
What about this competition now? I mean, the way it works, you could go through to maybe a Challenge Cup place if you win at Sale next week. That's again a big ask, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, obviously you were here for the last game, which was attritional to say the least. So look, there's a massive price to play in Champions Cup, as we know. Physically, because you come up against the very best, the very biggest as well. So, yeah, everyone knows where we are from a squad availability point of view. We'll give it our best shot. Great opportunity to learn for the youngsters again, like it was today. And those boys really, really aimed up today. I was really pleased for people like Will Griff, Jack Morgan, Ethan Root showed some nice touches. I thought Reece Webb led the team really, really well. I thought, he led by example, everything intensity-wise. Ian Watkin having Kieran Williams back. I forgot his name there for a minute. We called him something else. I had to make sure I called him by the right name. Back in, was really important to us, and the more players we get back, the more competition there is for places, the more we can keep improving. Those younger players obviously looking to put their names forward for Wales selection as well. Kieran Williams, Jack Morgan, 2 of the uncapped names that might be in the frame this week.
Yeah, I mean, Kieran Williams has basically done 1 week for training. He's done 1 week of training. He's had injury, he's had COVID, he's had lots of disappointments and setbacks. We knew we could get 55 minutes out of him today, so we fulfilled that criteria. He's fit and healthy and he can go again, but everyone knows that he's a dynamic player and can get you on the front foot. And if that's what people are looking for, there's a lot of people in front of the queue and all of these players, they can just all they have to do is just keep putting credit in the bank. They put more credit in the bank, the greater their chances.
And as you look back on this season's Europe, I suppose you have to reflect that you've gone into it without so many experienced players. Alan Wynne, Dan Lydiate, Justin Tipuric, George North, who have made a heck of a difference for the younger players to play.
Yeah. I mean, that's why Reece Webb's performance is so impressive. Because and Tom Francis actually spoke very well in the change room. People that have been there and done it, and you've got to put enough support on and off the pitch around young players in order for them to become the best player they can be with the talent they've got, and that takes a long time. We've got a lot of young players, as I said. Rhys Davis, another one. You know, people just getting better and better. You saw Darry Lake, for example. 1 week's training, gone out there and he carried the ball. You know, got on the front foot, dynamic. You know, so yeah, the future's bright, but you know we need to maintain 80-minute performances and win now as well. So it's not all about build. We need to win as well, and that's at the moment we put out what we put out because that's what we got.
It was very evident from the first whistle that the attitude was bang on today, the mindset was right. If anything, you probably won the physical battle. How important is that mindset and attitude in terms of winning the game, like not just with the ball but without it as well?
It's the most important thing. Their coaches were very complimentary. They were going bananas at half time about what they were seeing in front of them, and that's the biggest compliment you can give a team in defence. So yeah, look, it starts with the mindset, it finishes the mindset, and in between it's probably the mindset as well, because ultimately you can't be better than what you are, and if your mindset is correct, then you can be the best that you can be. There's a lot of people on the other side trying to stop that, but that's where you grow your capability by training, learning, whatever. You increase your capability, but your mindset is the thing that determines whether you're going to, you know, be on it and consistently on it and be an every time player.
Yeah, it kind of breeds confidence as well, because in the first 20 minutes, if you feel yourself getting on top of a side that, you know, as star-studded as Racing were, if you get on top of them in the first 20 minutes, it builds, doesn't it?
Yeah, they had nowhere to go. They didn't, and you know, they were very much on the back foot. I thought, again, areas of the game, we talked about the negatives, the line out, the scrum was excellent. Last week it struggled. So from that point of view, it's always going to be an arm wrestle. But going back to your very point about the infectious element, if you come with the mindset, your defence gives you energy, you're asking the question whether they're up for it too. And again, that's a massively beneficial thing that's going to come out today.
Yeah, and then just finally, I guess, converting that sort of attitude and intensity into a win goes back to your point about accuracy, I guess.
Yeah, again, so, you know, I talk about the CIA a lot. Okay, I don't mean the American institution, but we talk about first thing you've got to be clear. So then you can bring the intensity, and then the third part is the accuracy. If you're not clear, you can't bring intensity. Once you're clear, then you can bring intensity to it. Once you've got the intensity, then you've got to measure how good you are at it.
And that's how you convert these good performances into wins against.
100%.
You said in your previous answer how well Dewi Lake played. What specifically do you like about Dewi? Because he's, you know, as a converted back rower, he brings something really different to every other hooker in Wales. I mean, there's a lot of good hookers, but there's something a bit different about him.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a hooker's judged primarily around his set piece, as always, and that's, you know, going to be that's always a journey, especially for a convert. You know that I invested a lot of time, put him out there a lot last year before he got injured, which is fantastic. That's his basics, his bread and butter. That needs to certainly be part of it. But the big thing for him is the collision, and he's a competitor. He wants to win every moment he's in. He's a competitor. He carries the ball. He's got on the front foot. He's taking defenders off his feet. You get on the front foot, and defensively he makes defensive pressure in the breakdown. So those two are very, very attractive, you know, attributes to have as a type 5 forward. You know, Gartom, for example, has a very similar attitude, and those modern players are about, you know, I want to compete at every opportunity I get.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you about Gareth Thomas next. You know, Ospreys scrum was obviously very dominant. He's making, you know, he got capped perhaps a bit later in his career, but he's somebody that's really impressed over the last couple of seasons. Just if you could talk about how impressed you've been with him, especially as scrummaging.
Well, I think I thought, you know, actually as a trio, I thought Tom Francis was very, very good today as well. You know, so that bodes well for Wales into the Six Nations from a set piece point of view for sure. I think that Gartom's a great example of the mindset question you ask. So I've come in as a fresh. I don't know anybody, and you know sometimes there's an opportunity for people to stake a claim. When I started working with him, it was obvious to me that he's very, and he'll hate me for saying this, you know, he reminds me a lot of English loose heads. So people like Benno Obano I've worked with before, Ellis Genge, Mako, they're dynamic players. They bring a change of pace, and he's got that because he wants to compete. Nicky Smith as well went on very, very destructive scrummager, got 2 turnovers in the breakdown. They bring the best out of each other, and those loose head positions have a massive influence on the game.